From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Today is Friday, December 27, 2013. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Our top story this evening: the current cold snap that has sent temperatures plummeting down to the lowest readings of the year so far will soon be ending. However, the minus 40-degree readings since Christmas Eve have caused a massive inversion to cover the valley, trapping pollutants. Unfortunately, this inversion has caused the air quality in the Fairbanks and North Pole areas to deteriorate and forced the folks at the Borough Air Quality Division to issue numerous alerts. The culprit would normally be wood stoves, but officials at the borough say even though wood stoves are contributing to the bad air, the highest number of complaints are being filed against those burning coal.
Gone down. We are unfortunately getting a lot more reports of the smell of coal and a lot more coal burning. It is less expensive and you can have it delivered, but it certainly makes your neighbors angry when you do that. And we've just found some really bad areas. I know there's coal popping up in my area, and that's really the biggest change we've noticed. And I suspect in years to come, that may start pushing the wood smoke percentage out. It has an odor. It's more of an odor problem for people, and also the things that come out of coal that burn your eyes and your throat. There's more nasty chemicals that come out of it, more than wood. And it tends to be wet, like wet wood, so it's usually around 35% moisture content. So there's a lot of coal burning that creates a lot of particulates with coal as well.
A Fairbanks man found dead in his car on Sunday morning was the apparent victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. 29-year-old Ryan Tufford was parked in his Subaru Forester on 23rd Avenue when he was found by officers. According to Fairbanks police, it appeared the man was living in the vehicle, which had several heaters in it. One of the propane heaters appeared to be leaking. A woman who had been at the scene told police that Tufford was her boyfriend, and she found him dead in the car but had fled due to outstanding warrants for her arrest. Alaska State Troopers in Fairbanks are asking for the public's help in locating an Arizona man who hasn't been seen since December 14th. Keith Stompro, age 66, checked into Pike's Waterfront Lodge on December 10th and was scheduled to days. Hotel personnel contacted Alaska State Troopers on December 20th after no one at the hotel had seen him in days, despite his personal belongings, including valuables, being left in the hotel room. Troopers believe Stompro has been in Alaska since the beginning of November. He rented a car in Anchorage and eventually headed north toward Fairbanks. While en route, his rental car collided with a herd of caribou on the park's highway near Cantwell on December 10th. The crash totaled the car. Nonetheless, he managed to find a ride to Fairbanks, where he checked into Pikes that day. He was last seen by hotel cleaning staff on December 14th. Stompro is described as 5 foot 9 inches tall, weighing 165 pounds, with hazel eyes and graying brown hair. If anyone has had contact with Stompro since December 10th or information leading to his whereabouts, please contact Alaska State Troopers in Fairbanks at 907-451-5100. In news from around the state, the Alaska Appeals Court has reinstated charges of excessive fishing against a former state senator and 2 others. A wildlife officer in August 2009 cited former Democratic lawmaker Albert Kukesh of Angoon for catching more sockeye salmon than allowed under a subsistence fishing permit. The appeals court says the Department of Fish and Game had the authority from the Board of Fisheries to regulate the catch. A woman is suing the municipality of Anchorage, claiming she was falsely arrested for drunken driving after she refused to give her phone number to a police officer. Nancy Means is seeking to have the municipality scrub any evidence of her arrest. A later breath test listed her blood alcohol level at 0. And old human remains have been exhumed from the basement of the historic building that houses Sitka radio station KCAW, or KCAW, more than 2 years after they were discovered. The radio station, the bones removed from the cable house, have been identified as Alaska Native and are in the custody of the Sitka tribe of Alaska. M. Marcel Jackson, one of Alaska's first female doctors, has died at age 84. Jackson's medical career began in territorial days during early statehood. Jackson was one of a handful of women doctors practicing in the state. A celebration of her life is scheduled for January 19th in Anchorage. And when we come back tonight, we continue our annual review of the top stories of 2013, the weather, and the power outage. Those stories are next after the break. Stay with us. And welcome back. As we continue our look at this year's biggest stories, the weather played a major role in the lives of many Fairbanksans. More now from News Center 11's Mike Schultz.
The weather for the past year has been ridiculous, and nobody knows more about that than the climatologist up at the University of Alaska Fairbanks with the National Weather Service, Rick Toman. He says it'll be one for the record books.
It has been a very dramatic year weather-wise for Fairbanks. Although it seems like a very long time ago, in January, middle of the month, we had the biggest freezing rain in January we've had in more than 50 years in Fairbanks. Temperatures on a roller coaster after that was kind of seasonable or a little above snow. But then April wound up being the coldest April in Fairbanks since 1924. First time in more than 40 years the temperature could not even get to 50 in April in Fairbanks. That cold weather continued into the first part of May. The snowpack in town didn't melt out until May 11th. That's the second latest meltout of record. But then summer came almost overnight in late May with temperatures soaring into the 80s, and we wound up with the third warmest June of record, and including the hottest day in modern Fairbanks weather records on the 25th with a high of 92 and a low of 70. July continued that warm weather, and it was very dry, very active fire season, lots of smoky days. That warm weather continued right into mid-May. We wound up with 36 days in Fairbanks with highs of 80 or higher, and that is by far the most we've ever had in a single summer. Had a little bit of taste of cooler weather in September, but then October turned around and the warm weather continued, wound up being the warmest October since 1938 in Fairbanks and the second lowest amount of snow during the month of October in the modern era. That mild weather continued into November with another freezing rain on the 13th and 14th. Freezing rain, snow, more freezing rain, and that was followed by the big windstorm that knocked out power to so many Fairbanksans.
Rick was right. That storm that hit on the 14th and 15th of November will be one that will not be forgotten for a long time. Here's Nikki Carvajal on just how destructive and catastrophic the storm was.
Well, as most Fairbanksans know, last night we had strong winds develop after a wet and kind of icy day, and it's created a lot of problems for our power lines. Those trees have bent over, and poles have actually snapped, cross arms have broken, and lines have burned up. So it's been a pretty busy night for our crews.
It turned out to be the first of several busy nights for GVEA linemen. Crews from all around the state were called in to help repair the widespread outages throughout the interior.
At the peak, we had about 70 employees out in the field, linemen making the repairs, and right around 20 crews working the area.
Around 13,000 homes were initially left without power, and while crews worked around the clock to fix the system, some residents were without power for days. As the temperatures began to drop, the state stepped in to offer assistance.
And they have been doing a great job bringing to bear the resources that the city, the borough, both cities have to meet the task at hand. But they're also going to be, at least the borough and the city are going to be asking for additional help. I'm going to declare a disaster on behalf of the state, following up on the proclamation that the borough has submitted.
According to the Alaska Department of Homeland Security, no temporary housing assistance was required after the Red Cross-run borough shelters were closed. The state's assistance was focused mostly on repair and recovery efforts, which according to GVEA still aren't finished.
I would say there's quite a bit of the system that was put together in a quote-unquote patched up manner that will be spending quite a period of time, and it could take years to go cycle through the system and repair all the damage, but it's still sturdy, and that's what I say, it could take years. It's sturdy, but it's not just right.
Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
I'm joined now by Joe Cook. And Joe, you know, of course, obviously, the flu bug's hitting the news station pretty well.
Yeah, I have this wall set up.
Exactly. You're the only healthy one, really.
I've
but
been okay, knock on some wood.
Tell you what, I'm recovering. But you know what? Now I have a basketball Jones. I'm hoping you have the
good.
cure.
That's good, yeah. As a matter of fact, I do have some high school basketball to talk about since the teams are balling in some holiday break tournaments. Also, we continue our sports year in review as well. So stay tuned for sports. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this evening. Time to get your weekend started with some sports. And with all this dumb cold weather, it'd be nice to be where the Lathrop Malamutes are. They're in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Prep Championship Tournament. Just looked this up. Temperatures in the high to mid 60s all weekend. Sounds great. Last night, the Lathrop boys basketball team wasn't as great as they opened their tourney against Reed High School. Reed won 59-46. Now, Lathrop will play host Las Vegas tonight at 7:30. Vegas is led by Raekwon Smith, who's getting interest from UNLV and Oklahoma. He dropped 43 points in the game earlier this month, right before the tournament. The Vegas Prep Championship runs through Monday. Lathrop isn't the only team who left the interior for holiday break tournaments. The West Valley Wolfpack boys team and North Pole girls traveled to Ketchikan for the Clark Cochran Christmas Classic. Try saying that 5 times fast. The Patriots girls play Klowak today, and the Wolfpack will face Seward in their openers. The Christmas Classic wraps up on Sunday. The North Pole boys basketball team and the Lathrop girls basketball teams are in the capital city of the 49th state for the Capital City Classic in Juneau. The Patriots play Diamond today, and the Malamutes will face Juneau Douglas. The tournament ends on Monday as well. And we continue our sports year in review for 2013 with the Alaska Nanook hockey team. We saw a conference change, game winners, trends, and even new facilities. Here's more. There were tons of moments for the Nanook hockey program in 2013. Here are a few standouts. How about back in January when the Nanooks couldn't be beat? They won 6 straight, including 2 sweeps on the road over Michigan and Notre Dame. Jarrett Granberg scored a game winner over Notre Dame with 3 seconds left in a 5-4 win. And the end of an era. On February 23rd, the Nanooks won their last CCHA game over Michigan State 4-2. Andy Toronto scored the game winner with 63 seconds left in regulation. On March 1st, the Nanooks won 4 straight Gov Cups. Cody Koenig provided the Heroics with the game-winning goal in overtime and a 2-1 win at the Carlson. Speaking of Koenig, he reached the 100-point career plateau on November 22nd against Ferris State as well. On October 18th, Garrett Perry's overtime game-winning goal over then number 12 Denver and the Bryce Galaska goal rush was an NCAA top play. On November 1st, the Nooks win their first ever WCHA conference game with a 5-4 win over Northern Michigan. How about some memories for the Rooks? On November 9th, Joey Davies, his first career goal was on the road, and it was an overtime game winner against Lake State. The Nooks won 3-2. That was the first win for UAF at Lake State since 2009. Remember the blast from the past? On October 22nd, the Nanooks have a series at the Patty Ice Arena against Mercyhurst and don some Alaska throwback jerseys. And they also win the series. The Nanooks unveiled a new state-of-the-art locker room to the team and fans in October as well. Nice facility for the Nanooks. A lot happened in 2013 for the Nanooks on the ice, but 2014 is just around the corner, and more moments in history is just ahead for the UAF. Now we take a look at 2 programs up on the hill that had a good year from beginning to end and could continue the trend going into 2014. Here's a little recap of the swimming and rifle teams 2013. Every now and then you see greatness, and the Nanook swimming team put that on display in 2013. Senior Benty Heller left her mark in the swimming program when on March 8th in her junior season at the NCAA Championships, she swam 54.26 seconds in the 100 backstroke, an event she didn't even really swim. That time earned her the first ever national championship in Nanook history. Heller was also named UAF Female Athlete of the Year for the 2nd time. She's a 9-time All-American as well. And then later this year in their new season, the team is following her lead with an influx of young talent that is contributing. The Nanooks are ranked 12th in the country in the CSC8 NCAA Division II poll and are number 6 on collegeswimmings.com NCAA D2 performance rankings. The Nanooks have 23 top 25 times across 15 different events to close out 2013. For the rifle team, this year could be about finishing strong. On March 9th, they finished 4th at the NCAA Championships, led by Ryan Anderson, who was named Male Athlete of the Year for UAF. He was a first-team All-American in small bore and second-team in air rifle. This season, UAF is #1 in the nation and are 6-0. The team broke 2 program records in the range this year. On October 13th, they shot a 4.694 against Ole Miss, breaking a 6-year-old record of 4.692. Then they followed up with a major output of 4.702 to break their previously new record 4.694. They set that new program record against then #1 Kentucky on November 23rd. Then to top it all off, earlier this month, UAF was selected to be the host site of the 2015 NCAA Rifle Championships. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. For more KTVF Sports, just go to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com. You can also get our mobile app. Stay warm, Alaska. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our Friday night newscast. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. And the good news is the cold air is going to be moving out. It's taking its sweet time getting out of here, but it's always warming up around the Delta Junction area and Nenana in the single digits below zero, although the winds are gusting close to 40 miles an hour. Here's what's going on as far as our photograph for tonight. This is a nice one sent in by Tom Schneider. It's a Christmas cabin near Fox. You can see the colored lights on the tree there, and also the cabin lit up very beautifully. And again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. The numbers look like this. The normal high 3 above, normal low 14 below. Today's high only 22 degrees below zero. The record high 38 in 1909, 58 below in 1961. And the sunrise and sunset after a 2-minute gain is up to 3 hours and 51 minutes. Our satellite and radar again showing the moisture moving up from the south. You can see it really beginning to show up pretty well. In fact, snow is moving into the Anchorage area as we speak, and it's all going to continue moving over the Alaska Range and bringing us some light snow starting tomorrow, late tomorrow morning, early afternoon. You might get a couple or maybe 3 inches out of this snow situation. But the big thing is warmer temperatures moving up, and that's the key factor. Over the rest of the state, mixed rain and snow around Juneau, raining around Kodiak Island. Otherwise, the rest of the state looking to clear and cold temperatures, 28 below at Barrow and 40 below at Fort Yukon for their high today. Lower 48 weather, again, we're looking at nice weather over the western half of the country, right around freezing around Salt Lake City, 32 degrees there. Denver is 60 degrees. Up and down the eastern seaboard, they're getting ready for a big snowstorm and rainstorm. In fact, it shows up on the satellite and radar. All the ingredients are coming together down here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to scream up the eastern side of the country and bring quite a bit of mix of weather, and some of it could be heavy, and bringing some folks a lot of headaches. And over the Pacific Northwest, another system starting to move in. The jet stream early next week will be bringing some very, very cold weather right on down into the Great Lakes and dropping down as far south as the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, while over to the west things continue to remain dry and a little bit of shower activity over the Pacific Northwest. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like in the northern sections. Partly cloudy skies for Barrow. Fog still in the Fort Yukon area and sunny skies at Nome. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at occasional light snow with warming temperatures for Healy, Fairbanks, and Delta Junction. Over southeast Alaska, it looks like some rain and snow at Juneau. Ketchikan should see mainly rain, while over to the southwest part of the state, looking at a little snow in Bethel, rain at Cold Bay, and some clouds for Kodiak Island, while over the south central regions, it looks like 3 to 6 inches of snow at Valdez, periods of light snow in Homer and Anchorage. And our weather fact for tonight, as we wrap up this week, in 1982, Vinton, Louisiana had more than 18 inches of rain falling in the day. Boy, that's a lot of rain. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank, and once again, a reminder, the kids will be back with us on the 7th of January. And real quickly, our winter trails report showing that temperatures will continue to warm into Sunday with outdoor activities should be great for this weekend. And watch out for the slick tracks on the cross-country trails. Be cautious around rivers, lakes, and ponds. All right, here's your forecast for tonight. 33 degrees below zero for the coldest temperatures, but they'll start to rise after midnight, and dense fog will be diminishing. That's the good news also. Tomorrow's forecast, occasional snow with 2 to 3 inches of snow by late evening, 8 degrees below for the high, and the encouraging news for the 5-day showing temperatures rising into the digits above zero. Nice to see that. Overnight lows also will be warming, and we're looking at periods of light snow, like I said, on Saturday, and then possibly some more snow into the picture by Wednesday or Thursday, with overnight lows once again rising to 10 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than 40 below, that's for sure.
It is. I don't mind the snow. I actually like snow. So, 40 below though.
I had one guy call me at 52 below last night in Pleasant Valley along the Chena Hot Springs Road.
Ooh, wow, that is crazy. I'm glad that is moving out of the picture. That
Yes,
is,
it is.
that is great news, Mike. Thank you. And that'll wrap up this edition of our broadcast. We are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, a look at some of the great individuals that passed away this year and what kind of legacy they are leaving. That's next with Brian Williams.
And a reminder, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great weekend and a great night.
Good night.